Made with Spoken.
Chapter 1. Music on the Mind. I run the 1/4 mile from the bus stop to my house as fast as I can. Christmas is over, but the cold lingers, an unwelcome guest that will not leave. I open the front door and run inside, dropping my gloves and hat in a pile. "Ah!" I exclaim. My younger brother and sister burst in behind me, also shivering and shaking from the relentless cold. "I can't take it anymore," Emily cries. "Me neither," I say. I troop into the kitchen and drop my backpack on the table. "Mom?" "In the laundry room," my mom calls back. "Where did you put your gloves?" I return to the entryway. I pick up the discarded winterwear and throw it into the hall closet. "It's too cold," I can hear Emily saying from the kitchen. "Can't you pick us up from the bus stop? Or at least take us in the morning." I join the conversation. Mom looks up from the laundry. "It's good for you. When else do you run?" I glance at Emily, who shrugs. "I don't like running," I say. I pick up an apple. "Do we have any brownies left?" Mom frowns at me. "No, but a brownie isn't a good snack. Just eat that apple." I take a big bite from it. "Mom, I want to do something with music." Mom hauls the basket of clothes into the living room and beckons me to follow. "Oh? What do you mean?" I shrug and sit down to help fold the towels. "I don't know. In school, when we were practicing songs for the Christmas program, I just felt like, what happens after Christmas? I wanted the music to continue." "Well, do you want to do something with piano?" I scowl. "I don't think so." I took piano lessons for a year in Texas and hated it. Every practice had been agonizing, and I doubted I'd been very nice to the piano teacher. It's pretty boring. Besides, my fingers lack dexterity. "Dexterity?" My mom giggles. "You're funny. Give me that towel before you rip it from folding it so often." I hand it over. "What other instruments could I play?" "Well, I don't know. I've never played any." Mom frowns as she considers the situation. "But you know what? Your dad has played just about everything. Why don't you ask him when he gets home?" "Sure," I say, brightening. I pick up my backpack and go to my room, humming a song from the Christmas program we put on last month. "So how was everyone's day?" Dad looks around the table during dinner. "Annette?" "Great," 4-year-old Annette says, her standard answer to just about everything. "Scott?" He shrugs his shoulders. "Fine," also the standard answer. Dad takes a bite from his meatball and then shakes his fork at Scott. "Remember what we talked about? You need to use your descriptive words to answer the question." Scott sighs. "I was on yellow and missed 5 minutes of recess. But it wasn't my fault. Miles was loud at lunch, and I just couldn't help it." He raises his eyebrows and shakes his head to express his helplessness. I roll my eyes. Scott might only be in the 1st grade, but he has the conniving mentality of a con artist. "Well, tomorrow you'll stay on green, right?" Dad says. "Right," he grumbles. "Emily?" "Perfect," she spouts, a smile on her lips. "I got a 100% on my spelling test, and Ms. Wright selected me to present for the 3rd grade assembly." "That's great, Emily." I force myself to stab my food and stick it in my mouth instead of making a negative comment. Emily excels at everything she puts her hand to. Of course she gets perfect scores and is chosen to represent her class. Every day is roses and unicorns for Emily. And you, Cassie? Finally, my turn. I adjust my turquoise glasses on my nose and face my dad. "I want to start playing an instrument, Daddy." "Oh, really?" His graying eyebrows rise above the piercing blue eyes. "What kind of instrument?" "I really don't know. Mom thought you could help me choose." He nods, a sparkle of excitement in his eyes. "Well, let's see. I played the saxophone, the clarinet, the piano, even the drums for a bit. The clarinet sounds like fun." "Can I play one?" Emily asks. "I want to play the clarinet also." I feel a flash of irritation and round on Emily, next to me at the table. "You already play the piano. You don't need another instrument." Though I've bored of piano and moved on, Emily has taken to it like a fish in water. She's in the middle of her 3rd year and mastering piano pieces that I never dreamed of. "Why not? Daddy played lots of different ones." So he did. I glare at him for revealing that. "Can't this just be my thing?" "I want to do the drums," Scott says. "That's what boys do, right?" The drums? Hang on, hang on. Dad throws his hands up and leans back in his chair. I think we might be onto something. How many other kids in the school do you think would love to play an instrument? I have really no idea. I blink and wait for my father to finish his thought. Let's say most of them. They'd have the same conversation at dinner, and most of them would want to play. I drum my fingers on the table, still waiting for the point. So what if, he points a finger at Mom and grins, what if I started a band? Chapter 2, Dad's Bands. A band? Mom echoes. How would you do that? I'd have to get permission from the school, of course, but we could meet at the school, in the choir room a few times a week. Dad rubs his hands together, grinning like a toddler at Easter. This could work. You work, Jim, Mom says, a note of impatience in her voice. When do you have time? Well, there's before work, or after work. There's always a way, Karen. Dad's tone matches Mom's, a touch of irritation that she isn't as excited as he is. I think it's a great idea, I throw in. What fun it will be to have a band at school and have my dad in charge, no less. I'll talk to Ms. King tomorrow, he says. Why don't I drive you guys to school? Yes, Emily exclaims. I grin. We won't have to ride the bus tomorrow or stand in the freezing weather while we wait for it to come. Things are already looking up. I sit in my 5th grade class Tuesday morning, copying down the morning warm-ups from the board, when the intercom makes the staticky sound that indicates the announcements are about to come on. Attention, please, the voice begins. I keep working. I can listen and get stuff done at the same time. Most of the announcements won't apply to me anyway. Reminders about car riders and walkers, sign-ups for some activity. In addition to the Just Say No Club, next week we are proud to announce that we will be starting a band. I put my pencil down and straighten. My dad was so excited after he talked to Ms. King, but he wasn't sure the administration would approve his band. They must have told him yes. It will be under the direction of Jim Jones and will meet every Friday morning at 7 a.m. in the music room. 4th graders and above are invited to join. No 3rd graders. I feel a guilty twinge of satisfaction. Emily won't be able to join. Please bring any instrument of your choice. Instruments will not be provided for you. If you have any questions, please contact Ms. King. My hand shoots into the air. Not now, Cassie, Ms. Dawson says. We're listening to the announcements. I heave a sigh of frustration and hunker down in my chair. A moment later, we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then the intercom clicks off. All right, everyone has 5 more minutes to finish up their warm-ups. I lift my hand again, sitting up very straight in my chair. Yes, Cassandra, you have a question? That's my dad's band, I say. He started it. He's the director. Well, that's very nice, Cassie. I'll be joining it, I continue. It was my idea. I'm going to play the clarinet. Can't wait to hear you play. Anyone have any questions about the board work? Matthew Grace, the boy who has sat near me all year, leans toward me. I've always wanted to be in a band. I think that's so cool. Can I bring my keyboard? Sure, I say. My dad said any instrument. I glance around to see if anyone else wants to ask me about the band, but the other students are concentrating on the assignment. I can hardly wait for Friday. It will be so much fun. Nee. I'm home, Dad calls, coming in the front door. Hi, Daddy, I say as he comes into the kitchen. What happened to all my little children that used to come running to the front door? He asks, pausing to give me a hug. We grew up? Daddy! As if on cue, little Annette rounds the corner into the kitchen. She throws her arms around his legs and grins up at him. Guess what? I say, putting the last knife away in the drawer. It's my job to load and unload the dishwasher every day. They announced your band today in school. Said it starts Friday. I'm so excited. I can't wait. He smiles. Well, that's fantastic news, because look what I've got here. He leads me back into the dining room, where what looks like 2 small suitcases sit under the piano bench. What are they? I ask, a niggle of excitement sprouting in my chest. Dad nails and opens one up. The case is velvet-lined, with small cylinder pieces fitted inside. A clarinet. Let me show you how to put it together. Wow. A smile stretches across my face. I watch my dad connect the cylinders until he has a long tube. Where did you get it? I'm renting it from someone at church. I look at the other case. What's in that one? Another clarinet? Oh, I frown as a suspicion darkens my mind. Do I need two? He chuckles as he connects the mouthpiece. No, it's for Emily. But they said in morning announcements that it's only for 4th grade and up. Emily's in 3rd. Ah, yes, Dad hands me the completed clarinet. But as the band director, I am entitled to certain privileges. So Emily gets to be in the band too, and she'll play the clarinet. I accept the instrument, a hollowness in my chest. Can I have one thing that is my own? Just one? Is Scott coming too, playing the drums? No. He shakes his head. 1st grade is too young. Scott couldn't sit still long enough to learn a beat. But Emily's a very advanced 3rd grader. I'm sure she'll do great. He nods at the clarinet in my hands. Don't you want to try it? He asks, oblivious to the change in my mood. No, that's all right. I hand it back. I'll wait until Friday with everyone else. Thanks for getting it. Says. Emily keeps up a constant stream of excited conversation the whole drive to school on Friday. I'm grateful to be in a warm car, though we had to leave the house super early to get here on time. And my stomach tumbles over and around itself with nerves. I wish now that I'd let my dad give me some instruction before the band started. What if everyone can play but me? What if I'm just not very good? We're the first ones in the music room, but it isn't quite 7 a.m. yet. My dad sets up a music stand and places pictures around the room of different instruments. Let's have you girls sit over here, he says, directing Emily and me to a spot on one side of the room. What if we're the only ones that come? I ask. You won't be, Dad says, looking quite satisfied with himself. I had several parents call and verify the information. We should have a good crowd. He shows us how to put our clarinets together. We've just finished when a few more kids walk in, toting various instruments of all sizes. I recognize Connor Lane, a kid from one of the other 5th grade classes. He carries with him a small set of drums. Hi, I say, I'm in Ms. Dawson's class. Hi, he replies without quite meeting my eyes. He then moves to the farthest end of the music room and sets up his drums. I frown, then shrug it off. Who understands boys? Maybe he doesn't want to be friends. I wait to see if Matthew will show up with his keyboard, but he doesn't. All right, let's get started, my dad booms, raising his hands behind the music stand in the center of the room. I'm Mr. Jones. I'm also Cassie and Emily's dad. He waves at us. Everyone should have their instruments assembled by now, yes? He glances around, and no one contradicts him. Let's see what you know. Everyone, hit middle C. Hit what? I glance around as the kids fumble with their instruments. Emily puts her fingers on the clarinet and blows a note. Varying sounds begin to screech out of the other instruments, very few of them matching the note Emily blew. I put my mouth on the reed and blow, frustration boiling up inside me. I don't even know what middle C sounds like, and definitely don't know where to find it on the clarinet. Wasn't my dad going to teach me? Of course Emily knows. She plays piano. She knows everything about music. My dad walks around the room, repositioning hands, tightening strings. He gets to me and moves my fingers to press different buttons. I pull the clarinet from my mouth. I don't know how to play the clarinet. You have to teach me where middle C is. I am teaching you, he replies, and he walks away. Chapter 3. A little under. One thing is very clear after band practice. I am one of the only kids who walked in not having a clue how to play their instrument. I'd never even put it in my mouth until today. Some of the kids store their instruments in the closet, but I carry my clarinet home. I have one task this weekend: learn how to play. I reassemble it in the dining room, checking to make sure I have all the parts right. I pick up the reed and hesitate. My dad helped this morning. I'm not exactly sure how to put it in. I can help, Emily says, leaning in the doorway. Daddy showed me earlier this week. I know how. It grates on my nerves to accept her help, but I nod. Okay. Emily shows me how to moisten the reed and fit it in the holder. She gives me some more instructions, but I shrug her off. I can take it from here. I spend the next hour practicing blowing, making sure the sound coming out is on pitch. Then I pull out the little lesson book inside the case. Following the finger drawings, I begin playing notes. Even to my ears, they sound awkward and out of tune, but I keep going. When my dad gets home an hour later, I am still practicing. Hey, that sounds good, he says, loosening his tie and dropping his briefcase by the piano. Do you need help? No. I smile under his praise, then touch my lips, trying to bring some feeling back into them. My whole mouth aches from the constant playing. This is going to take some work. But we did great for our first day. He picks his briefcase back up. Keep practicing. I do, determined to be prepared for next Friday. I give it several hours on Saturday, then 1 hour on Monday after school. By the time I get home from Girls Club on Tuesday, I am too tired to give it an hour, but I still give it half an hour. Wednesday, I assemble the clarinet and then sit on the piano bench, staring at it. I just don't feel it today. I've been practicing hard for days, I tell the piano. I can take a break today. I put the clarinet down on the ground and go to my room. I'm laying on my bed reading when my dad knocks on the open door. Did you get your homework done? He asks. I roll over. I can hear Emily practicing piano in the dining room, the high notes pinging around my head and making my ears ring. A headache whispers at the corners of my brain, threatening to take over. Yeah, now I'm just reading. I saw your clarinet out by the piano. Oh, I forgot to put it away. I don't move from the bed, though. My eyes feel heavy and I suddenly want to sleep. How long did you practice for? I didn't. His image blurs in front of my eyes and I take my glasses off to make sure they aren't dirty. I'm pretty tired today. You won't improve if you don't practice, Cassie. You can't afford to take a break. I press a hand to my face and lay back on the bed. I'm just really tired. My dad leaves the doorway. I close my eyes and go to sleep. I wake up in the morning with my head swimming. My eyes don't want to open, but I hear Emily and Scott fighting in the bathroom. It's my job to get everyone dressed and out the door for the bus. I yank myself out of bed and stumble to the bathroom. Guys, be quiet, I snap in a harsh whisper. You'll wake Mom. My head throbs and my neck aches. I grab a toothbrush and sit down on the floor of the bathroom to brush, too exhausted to stay on my feet. Scaredy pads in next to me and whimpers, his tail giving a little thump. I realize I didn't take him outside during the night. I groan. You're gonna miss the bus, Emily says, pulling her light brown hair into a ponytail. What time is it? My alarm didn't go off. I haul myself to my feet. I grab the sink and hold myself there as a wave of dizziness washes over me. Yes, it did, Emily says. You just didn't get up. She walks out of the bathroom. And you didn't wake me? I call after her. I run to my room and throw on a t-shirt, then yank on a pair of jeans. My mom will have to take care of Scaredy. The front door opens and closes as my siblings leave, and I force myself to move faster. If I miss the bus, I'll be in so much trouble. I grab my backpack from the foot of the bed and rush out the door. The cold air hits me like a million sharp needles, piercing my skin and cutting through my jacket. I barely have a chance to register the temperature because I see the bus already pulling up to the top of the hill. Sweat beads on my forehead. I'm not going to make it. My side is already cramping. Wait for me, I gasp out. Come on, Kathy the bus driver says as I stumble to the open door. I climb on and collapse in the first empty seat, which happens to be next to Emily. I lean my head against the seat and groan. I made her hold the bus for you, Emily says. I told her you were coming. My eyes do not want to open. I squint at Emily. Thanks. I close my eyes again. The bus jerks to a stop and my eyes pop open. What happened? We're here. Emily gives me a sympathetic look. You slept the whole way. Oh! I widen my eyes, trying to make them stop burning. I slip my arm through my backpack and follow Emily off the bus. No. How long have you been itching this spot on your head, Cassie? I look at Ms. Dawson and stop scratching my forehead. I stand in line with my class, waiting to leave the cafeteria after lunch. Oh, I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. Ms. Wade, come here, please. Ms. Dawson beckons to one of the other fifth-grade teachers. What is it? Ms. Wade asks, coming over. Look at this. Ms. Dawson pushes back my hair. That spot on her forehead. She keeps scratching it. Well, Ms. Wade frowns. I feel like a goldfish the way the two women stare at my head. What do you think it is? How are you feeling, Cassie? Ms. Dawson asks. Horrible, I admit. I'm really tired and have a headache. Do you think it's the chicken pox? Ms. Wade murmurs, looking sideways at Ms. Dawson. I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen it. They both frown at me. Ms. Dawson presses the back of her hand against my forehead. She doesn't feel feverish. Well, I guess we'll find out soon. Ms. Wade gives me one last glance and returns to her class. Let me know if you start to feel sick, all right? I nod. I already feel sick, and I'm pretty sure I said that, but maybe I need to feel sicker. I spend the rest of the day trying to keep my head up. My eyelids droop every time I start reading, and my head nods while I try to write out my answers. I can't focus on anything Ms. Dawson says, and I spend recess sitting on the sidewalk. Finally, the bell rings. I move as fast as I can from the classroom to the bus circle just so I can get on the bus first. I pick a seat by the window and lean my head against it. My vision blurs and I close my eyes. Are you okay, Cassie? My mom asks as I drag my feet through the front door. No, I reply, too tired to mince words or act okay. I'm going to bed. I drop my backpack by the piano and go down the hall, not waiting for an answer. The pillow calls my name, and I give in. My stomach tumbles over on itself, churning and grumbling. I wrap my arms around my torso and curl up. Sis? I wake up, a bit groggy, my throat aching. I'm not sure how long I've slept. My eyes slid open. The weak light filtering through the blinds gives away that the day is ending, with night fast encroaching. I sit up, my head heavy like it's full of cotton. This end of the house is silent. I slip out of bed and follow the murmur of voices to the kitchen, where everyone else sits around the table, eating dinner. I'm not hungry, though, so I sit down on the living room couch and watch my family eat. My mom notices me first. Hi, Cassie. Are you feeling any better? I shrug. I think so. As long as I'm sitting down anyway, I don't feel too bad. I lie down on the couch and rest my head on the armrest. I have an itch on my foot, but am too tired to bend down and scratch it. I wiggle my toes, twisting my foot around to relieve the sensation. If anything, the need only increases, like a bunch of little ants walking in circles on the sole of my foot. And now they're tickling me with their little jaws. I grab my toes and tilt my foot so I can see the bottom. No little ants. I do notice, however, a tiny drop of water. I touch it with my finger and pull my foot away. It isn't water, but a small blister, and the moment I touched it, the itching doubled. Now more than anything, I want to dig my fingers into that little blister and scratch it off. The first vestiges of panic creep up my chest. What is that? Leftovers from an ant attack? The beginnings of leprosy? Mom, I call. There's something weird on my foot. My mom looks over from the table and frowns. What is it? I don't know, I swallow, trying to keep my voice calm. Come see. My mom puts her fork down, and the whole family stares as she makes her way to me. It's all right, sweetie. What's on your foot? I twist my foot around so the bottom of it faces my mom. Then I hold my breath as her fingers trace the outlines of the tiny blister. It tickles and itches painfully, all at the same time. Then her finger trails down my foot and pauses near the heel. The same sensation occurs, though slightly less sensitive now. What are you doing? I push myself up so I can watch. You didn't notice this one, did you? There are two? My heart skips a beat. It's the chicken pox, Cassie. I'm pretty sure you've got the chicken pox. Chapter 4. Itchy. I sit in a folding chair behind my dad, watching him pull up information on the internet. But I thought the chicken pox was extinct, I say. There's a vaccine, he says. He took me downstairs and set up a temporary room for me, away from the other kids. You got it, and so did your brother and sisters. But it doesn't always work. Hopefully you'll only have a mild case because of that. And the others, will they get sick? Maybe. He pulls up several pictures of people's faces covered in red sores, swollen lips, bruised ears. Ew, I recoil. Is that going to happen to me? He chuckles. No. This is what used to happen in some extreme cases. Most people never got it this bad, even before the vaccine. You probably won't have more than a couple of poxes. He clicks on a few less dramatic images. I relax. That doesn't look so bad. Do I have to miss school? I make it sound like I'd be disappointed, but inside I envision a long vacation. I'm afraid so. You could still infect the kids that didn't get vaccinated. Even the ones that did might get it. Okay. I keep my eyes lowered to conceal my glee. It doesn't look like I'll get very sick, and I have to stay home to keep from infecting anyone else. A win-win situation. You should rest now, my dad tells me. Give your body a chance to fight this disease. Sure. I stand up and bundle myself into the big blanket my mom laid out on the cot. I curl up and close my eyes, smiling as I imagine telling Riley. I doubt Riley has ever had the chickenpox. My mouth aches. Somewhere my body knows it's morning time, even though the basement room is dark and the blankets cover my head. But I can barely move. My tongue probes around my inner cheeks. No, it doesn't just ache, it itches. I rub my cheeks with my tongue, trying to relieve the sensation. When that doesn't work, I reach a hand up and push my cheek against my teeth, but that only brings to my attention that my hand itches. I throw the blankets off my face and examine my arms. The same small white blisters dot my exposed skin. I reach into the blankets and grab my foot. Flipping it over, I search for the little blisters. They are gone. In their places are round red sores. Just staring at them makes me want to dig my fingers in and scratch. I suck in a breath, noting how my lips itch. Are these things on my face? My fingers dance over my jaw and forehead, but all it does is increase the itching sensation. I sling my legs over the side of the cot. Using the wall for support, I make my way to the bathroom. The bright light assaults my eyes, and I blink several times before they adjust, and I can see. There are 3 poxes on my face. I breathe a sigh of relief. It could definitely be worse. My stomach tightens, and I lean my head against the bathroom door. Standing takes too much effort. I bend my knees and sit on the floor, wrapping my arms around my lower torso. I don't feel so good. Mom, I whisper. Clearing my throat, I try again. Mom! Mom! I really put effort into the last yell, trying to force the sound past my lips and up the stairs. I must have succeeded because I hear the thumping of footsteps above me. Then they are on the stairs. And finally, they reach the basement. Cassie? Mom? I lift my head enough to catch my mom's attention. My mom comes over and squats beside me, pressing her hands around my face. How do you feel, honey? I shake my head. I feel achy and sore, and my skin crawls like an invasion of invisible bugs. Let's get you back into bed. My mom puts an arm around me and scoops me to my feet. I'll bring you down some crackers and soup. I do not want crackers and soup. I close my eyes, too tired to say anything more. My mom lays me down on the cot and tucks the blankets around me. Would you like me to put on a movie for you? Your dad set up a TV in here. I lift my eyes enough to see the small television resting on the folding chair, right in front of the cot. It is a thoughtful gesture on my dad's part, and it warms my heart. But I can't keep my eyes open. They feel like lead, and they want to close. I mean to answer my mom, but sleep beckons me. My mom moves my daily projects downstairs and stays close to me. Annette comes down a few times, but each time Mom shoos her back upstairs. I wake up several times long enough to stare out at my mom through half-closed eyes, but then I drift back off just as quickly. And then one time I don't. Mom! I'm here, Cassie. Mom crouches next to the cot. I'm hungry, I say, chewing on the itchiness in my cheeks. I'll warm up your soup and bring it right down. That soup sounds wonderful now. I push myself into a sitting position in anticipation. My hands wander to my legs, mindlessly scratching, then up to my neck, then my elbow. Don't scratch, Cassie, my mom says, coming in with a tray of soup and crackers. I'm not scratching, I say, and then realize I am. I place my hands on the tray, concentrating on not thinking about the itch behind my ear. I take a spoonful of soup. My palm itches, and the spot behind my ear is spreading. The warm soup goes down my throat and tastes wonderfully soothing. But it does not take away the insane itch behind my ear, on my palm, or the new one behind my knee. I can't take the itching, I cry. Finish your soup and you can take a bath in tea tree oil. What's that? Will it help? I scrape my hands up my legs and dig my nails into the skin behind my knees. It should. Did you get the chicken pox when you were little? My mom pauses, her brown eyes staring into space as she thinks about the question. Yes, almost everyone did. There was no vaccination then. Did you get it bad? I don't really remember. I was only 4. I survived, at least. I finish up my soup, my whole mind intent on getting a bath that will relieve the itching. My mom helps me get it ready, and then I climb inside. I shut my eyes in satisfaction. The warm water soothes me, and the itching stops. I think it's working, I say. Good. Take your time, and let me know when you're ready to get out. The bath is relaxing and comfortable, but after a few minutes, I get bored. I call my mom to help me get out. Is the itching better? Mom asks, pulling my long hair back into a French braid. I rub the cloth of my shirt against an itch. It was better in the bath, but it's horrible again. The itching is going to drive me crazy. Tears sting my eyes and I sniff. Just think about other things, honey. Come on, let's put on a movie. Is there a movie you want to watch? Mom asks once I'm settled in my cot. I flip through the TV guide. No, actually, go to Channel 5. There's a show on TV I want to watch. The television changes to the requested channel, but the static is so bad I can hardly make out the figures. I scowl. Are the settings right? Oh, my mom leaves the room and then comes back. It's raining. We might not be getting very many channels right now. Great. My brain pounds inside my skull as if it were an animal trying to get out. Put on any movie then. I don't care. I close my eyes and wait for the sound of a movie to reach my ears. When I open my eyes, I realize I've fallen asleep again. A movie is playing, but I guess it to be about halfway over. There are still crackers on the tray next to my cot, and I pick them up and eat them. Another bath would be nice. At least for a few moments, I didn't itch. I think about calling my mom again, but that requires too much energy. Instead, I watch the movie, waiting for someone to check on me. The movie is almost over when I hear the front door slam open, followed by pounding footsteps upstairs. Annette's excited babble mixes with Scott's whiny tone and Emily's bossy one. Then one set of feet comes down the stairs. I listen to them approach, not sure if I should pretend to be asleep or greet them. Emily comes into the room, her light brown hair in disarray around her flushed face, the plush jacket still on and zipped nearly to her chin. Here, she says, tossing a bunch of papers at me. I catch one as they flutter to the ground. What are these? Your homework, Emily grins at me. Mom told me to tell the office you're sick. They gave me that to give to you. I glare at her. Could this sickness get any worse? Now, on top of not feeling well, I have to do homework. I'd go to school if I could, you know. Yep, and hopefully you'll be able to soon. Emily starts to leave, and then she puts her hand on the door jamb and turns around. Oh, and did you forget tomorrow's band practice? Looks like you'll be too sick. Jerk, I think, shooting daggers with my eyes into my sister's retreating back. All that relentless practicing I've done every day until I got sick, and now no one will even know. To make it worse, I might have forgotten everything. It will still be Emily, the queen of music, the queen of everything. My mom gives me another bath that evening, this time with baking soda. It doesn't seem to help any more than the tea tree oil one. I sit on the couch during dinner and cry, feeling miserable and lonely. Mom comes to the couch and hands the phone to me. It's Riley. I called her for you. Sniffing, I press the phone to my ear. Riley is my closest friend here in Arkansas, and we haven't talked since Wednesday. Hello? Hi, Riley's voice comes back. Your mom said you're sick. Yeah. Tears well up in my eyes and roll down my cheeks. I have the chicken pox. Ms. Dawson told us. Are you okay? I feel horrible. I try to control the quaver in my voice, but I can't. I hope you feel better soon. Thanks. Silence reigns on the phone, and Riley says, Well, I better go. Yeah, I nod. See you later. I put the phone down beside me, not feeling any better at all. We'll miss you at band practice tomorrow, Dad says as he tucks me into my cot. He wraps the blankets around me and smooths back my hair. You look like you have pepperoni all over your face. Thanks a lot, Daddy, I say. But I know he is teasing, and I don't mind it. My dad is often so stressed out from work that he isn't funny. Something seems to be going on upstairs. I hear footsteps thumping hard down the hall, followed by muffled crying. Jim, Mom calls. I need you to come up here. Better see what's wrong. He stands up, brushing his hands on his pants. Should I come see what's wrong? I ask, worried. No, stay here. Good night. He turns the light off in my room and walks out. I tune my ears in, trying to make sense of the scattered noises I hear. Emily is crying. She shuts herself in the room, and the sound disappears. But I am too curious. I wait a moment longer to see if anyone will say anything, but everyone seems to have gone to bed. The house is quiet. I put my feet on the carpet and creep up the stairs, using the banister for support. The light is still on in my parents' room. I follow it down the hall, slowing when I hear their murmur of voices. I can't make out what they say, though. From here, I can hear the quiet sobs coming from my and Emily's room. I peek around the corner and see my mom at the dresser, putting something away. I clear my throat and tap on the open door. My mom looks up, and my dad pokes his head out of the closet. Sorry, I say, doing my best to look concerned and not nosy. I heard Emily crying. Is she okay? She'll be fine, my mom says with a heavy sigh. She's got the chicken pox. Chapter 5. Band practice. Sorry that you have to miss band practice too, I say. I'm back in my room now, since Emily is sick also. My dad has taken down the bunk bed so neither of us have to exert ourselves, and now we both have a twin bed next to each other. I know how much you were looking forward to it. Emily nods in response, but doesn't say anything else. The poxes cover most of her face, and even her lips look swollen. A single tear shimmers on her lower lashes. I feel bad for her. I'm into day 3 of being sick and day 2 of being home, and today seems better than yesterday. Emily is only on day 1, though. She still has 2 more days before she starts to feel better. Look at it this way, I say, my voice full of fake cheer. Scott's not going to get our homework for us, so at least it will be a relaxing weekend. Emily sort of smiles. Her hands come up, and she rakes them down her face. Don't do that. I grab her hands and pull them down. It just gets worse. I promise. Try not to touch it. I settle back onto my bed and try to think what Emily and I could do for fun. Want to play Uno? Emily doesn't answer, and I swing my head around to look at her. Her eyes are closed, her chest rising and falling in sleep. I snuggle deeper into my own blankets, my body echoing the primitive urge to take a nap. Says, Hello, Wildcats. It's a freezing Friday morning, isn't it? Dad grins across the music room at the handful of students who have arrived early for band practice. Not too much longer, and we'll see sunshine and flowers. Most of the kids just stare back at him with deadpan expressions, but I grin back. My dad loves doing this band thing. And I'm very happy to have my daughters back today, he says, pointing his baton at me and Emily. Both of them decided to prove that vaccinations don't work. Now that they've made their point, they're here, bright and early. Emily and I exchange a smile. I straighten in my chair, holding my clarinet at the ready. I've been practicing. I feel more confident now, certain I can play whatever note he tells us to. All right, everyone, instruments up. Once again, give me a middle C. The interesting panel of musical notes fills the room, though this time, even to my untrained ears, it sounds more in tune. My dad walks around, listening, complimenting, correcting. He stops at Emily first and congratulates her on her posture and the way she carries the note. Then he reaches me. Beautiful, Cassie, he says, making the OK symbol with his hand. Great job. I don't stop blowing my note, but inside I beam. How's your band practice going? Leanne asks me, as the girls gather after school on Tuesday for our weekly girls' club meeting. It's great, I say. I sit down at one of the lunch tables left out for us to use. We're learning a song to play for the school in an assembly. I play the clarinet. I've always wanted to play an instrument, she says wistfully. She twists a strand of curly brown hair around her finger. Maybe someday. You could always join us, I suggest. We could use more people. Riley comes over and sits down next to me. I don't like musical instruments. I think they're boring. Well, that's your opinion, Leanne says, bolder than I would ever dare to be. I wish I could say something like that. Trisha, the assistant girls club leader, walks in with a big cardboard box in her arms. Margaret, Riley's mom and the leader, comes in behind her. Small group today, huh? Margaret says, putting her arm around Riley and hugging her. I glance around. Me, Leanne, Riley, and Cheyenne. Half of our normal size. Where are Maureen and Janice? Jaden? I chance to meet Trisha's eyes for a second and then look away. Trisha and I had an altercation at the beginning of the school year, and though we never speak of it now, I don't have any warm and fuzzy feelings toward her. But she is Jaden's mom, so she should know where Jaden is. Maureen's got the chicken pox, Trisha says, her stern gaze landing on me. Her mom came and got her after lunch, and I made Jaden stay home just in case it's still going around. Even though she doesn't come out and accuse me of anything, the accusation hangs in the air. I shrink down at the lunch table and resist the urge to glance around. Hopefully no one else blames me. Margaret casts a concerned glance my way. The important thing is that everyone's okay. Cassie's not sick anymore, and Maureen will be fine. So let's get started on today's project, shall we? I try to put Trisha from my mind and pay attention as we learn how to make friendship bracelets. But the woman's negative aura hangs over me like a dark cloud, casting a shadow on everything I try to do. Riley waits until Trisha walks away. Then she leans over and speaks in my ear. Don't let her get to you. Just think about how many friends you have. I nod. Good advice. The more I think about it, it's great advice. I have friends, but you can never have too many. It's time I became friends with everyone. Ta. You've been listening to Episode 4, Fever Pitch from Season 1, Walker Wildcats Year 1, Age 10 of the Extraordinarily Ordinary Life of Cassandra Jones by Tamara Hart Heiner. Be sure to subscribe and not miss a single thing. Episode 5 available soon.
Made with Spoken. Now available at spoken.press.